Hi. When the post arrived, Uncle Vernon, who seemed to be trying to be nice to Harry, made Dudley go inside. They heard him banging things with his smoking stick all the way down the hall. Then he shouted. There's another one! Mr. H. Potter, the smallest bedroom, 4 Privet Drive. With a strangled cry, Uncle Vernon leapt from his seat, ran down the hall, with Harry right behind him. Uncle Vernon wrestled Dudley to the ground to get the letter from him, which was made difficult by the fact Harry had grabbed Uncle Vernon around the neck behind. After a minute of confused fighting, in which everyone got hit a lot by the smelting stick, Uncle Vernon straightened up, grasping the letter. Harry clutched, gasping for breath, which Harry had collected from clutched in his hand.
Go to your cupboard, your bedroom.
He wheezed at Harry. Dudley,
just go. Just go.
Harry walked round and around his new room. Someone knew he had been moved from his cupboard, and they seemed to know he hadn't received his first letter. Certainly that means they would try again, and this time he would make sure they didn't fail. He had a plan. The repaired alarm clock rang at 6 o'clock. The next morning, Harry turned it off quickly, dressed silently. He mustn't wake the Dursleys, and stole downstairs without turning on any of the lights. He was going to wait for the postman on the corner of Privet Drive. Get the letters for number 4 first. His heart hammered. He crept across the dark hall towards the front door.
Here's the picture of Dudley and Harry fighting with Uncle Vernon to get the letter.
Harry leapt into the air. He had trodden on something big and squashy, some on the doormat, something alive. Lights clicked on upstairs, and to his horror, Harry realized the big and squashy something had been his uncle's face. Uncle Vernon had been lying on the front door in a sleeping bag, certainly making sure that Harry didn't do exactly what he had been trying to do. He shouted at Harry for half an hour and then told him to go and make a cup of tea. Harry shuffled miserably to the kitchen. By the time he had got back, the post had arrived, right into Uncle Vernon's lap. Harry could see 3 letters addressed in green ink.
I want,
he began, but Uncle Vernon was tearing the letters into pieces before his eyes. Uncle Vernon didn't go to work that day. He stayed home and nailed up the letterbox.
See?
He explained to Aunt Petunia through a mouthful of nails.
If they can't deliver them, they'll just give up. I'm not sure that'll work, Vernon. Oh, these people's minds work in strange ways, Petunia. They're not like you and me.
Uncle Vernon, trying to knock a nail with a piece of fruitcake Aunt Petunia had just brought him. On Friday, no fewer than 12 letters arrived for Harry. As they couldn't go through the letterbox, they had just been pushed under the door, routed through the sides, and even a few forced their way through the small window in the downstairs toilet. Uncle Vernon stayed home again. After burning all the letters, he had gotten a hammer and nails and boarded up the cracks around the front door and around the front and back door so no one could go in or and out. Could go in or out. He hummed tiptoe through the tulips as he worked, and jumped at small noises. On Saturday, things began to get out of hand. 24 letters to Harry found their way into the house, rolled up in and hidden inside of each of the 24 eggs that their very confused milkman had handed Aunt Petunia through the living room window. While Uncle Vernon made furious telephone calls to the post office and the dairy trying to find someone to complain to, Aunt Petunia shredded all the letters in her food mixer.
Who on earth wants to talk to you this badly?
Dudley asked Harry in amazement. On Sunday morning, Uncle Vernon sat down at breakfast at the table, looking tired and rather ill but happy.
No post on Sundays,
he reminded them happily, as he spread marmalade on his newspaper.
No damn letters today.
Something whizzed through the fireplace
through the
kitchen chimney as he spoke, and caught him sharply in the back of the head.
And here's the picture of Uncle Vernon boarding up the doors to stop Harry's letters from coming in. And
next moment, 30 or 40 letters came pelting out of the fireplace like bullets. The Dursleys stuck, but Harry leapt into the air trying to catch one.
Out! Out!
Uncle Vernon seized Harry around the waist and threw him into the hall. When Aunt Petunia and Dudley had ran out with their arms over their faces, Uncle Vernon slammed the door shut. They could hear the letters still streaming into the room, bursting off the walls and floor.
That does it,
said Uncle Vernon, trying to speak calmly, but pulling great tufts out of his mustache at the same time.
I want you back here in 5 minutes, ready to leave. We're going away. Just pack some clothes. No arguments.
He looked so dangerous with half his mustache missing that no one dared argue. 10 minutes later, they had wrenched their way through the boarded-up doors and were in the car, speeding towards the motorway. When Dudley was sniffling, he had in the back seat. His father had hit him round the head after holding them up while he tried to pack his television, video camera, and computer sports bag. They drove. Even Aunt Petunia didn't dare ask where they were going. Every now and then, Uncle Vernon would take a sharp turn and drive the opposite direction for a while.
Shake 'em off.
He would mutter whenever he did this. They didn't eat or drink all day. By nightfall, Dudley was howling. He never had such a bad day in his life. He was hungry. He'd missed 5 television programs he wanted to see, and he'd never gone so long without blowing up an alien on his computer. Uncle Vernon stopped at last outside a gloomy-looking hotel on the outskirts of a big city. Dudley and Harry shared a room with twin beds and damp, musty sheets. Dudley snored, but Harry stayed awake, sitting on the windowsill, staring down at the lights of passing cars, and wondering. They ate stale cornflakes and cold tinned tomatoes on toast for breakfast the next day. They had just finished when the owner of the hotel came over to their table.
Excuse me, but is one of you Mr. H. Potter? I only got about 100 of these at the front desk.
She held up a letter so they could read the green ink address.
Mr. H. Potter, room 17, Rail View Hotel, Cokeworth.
Harry made to grab the letter, but Uncle Vernon knocked his hand out of the way. The woman stared.
I'll take them,
said Uncle Vernon, standing up quickly and following her from the dining room.
Wouldn't it be better if we just go home, dear?
Aunt Petunia suggested timidly hours later, but Uncle Vernon didn't seem to hear her. Exactly what he was looking for, none of them knew. He drove into the middle of a forest, got out, looked around, shook his head, and got back in the car. And they drove off, and got back in the car, and off they went again. The same thing happened in the middle of a plowed field, halfway across a suspension bridge, and the top of a multi-story car park.
Parking on a suspension bridge isn't safe.
Yeah.
Suspension bridge. There's traffic. Daddy's gone mad, hasn't he?
Dudley asked Aunt Petunia late that afternoon. Uncle Vernon had parked at the coast, locked them inside and the car, and disappeared. It started to rain. Great drops beat on the roof of the car. Dudley sniffled.
It's Monday,
he told his mother.
The Great Humberto's on tonight. I want to say some more on the television.
Monday. This reminded Harry of something. If it was Monday and you could usually count Dudley to know the days of the week because of television, then tomorrow, Tuesday, was Harry's 11th birthday. Of course, his birthdays were never exactly fun. Last year, the Dursleys had given him a coat hanger and a pair of Uncle Vernon's old socks. Still, you weren't 11 every day. Uncle Vernon was back and he was smiling. He was also carrying a long, thin package and didn't answer Tuna when she asked what he had bought.
Found the perfect place,
he said.
Come on, everyone, out.
It was cold outside the car. Uncle Vernon was pointing at what looked like a large rock way out to sea.
Sorry. I yawned. So what? You're right here.
Perched on the top of the rock was the most miserable little shack you could imagine. One thing was certain, there was no television in there.
Storm forecast for tonight,
said Uncle Vernon gleefully, clapping his hands together.
And this gentleman kindly agreed to lend us his boat.
A toothless old man came ambling up to them, pointing with a rather wicked grin at an old rowboat bobbing in the iron-gray water.
I've already got us some rations,
said Uncle Vernon.
So all aboard.
It was freezing in the boat. The icy sea spray crept down their necks, and the chilly wind whispered their faces. After what seemed like hours, they reached a rock, where Uncle Vernon slipping and sliding, led the way down to the broken-down house inside. The inside was horrible. It smelled strongly of seaweed, and the wind whistled through gaps in the wooden walls. The fireplace was damp and empty. There were only 2 rooms.
Here's the picture of Uncle Vernon rowing them to the shack on the rock,
which might be interesting.
It's very soon. Good job, Mac. Let's take out.
Uncle Vernon rations turned out to be a package of crisps each and 4 bananas. He tried to start a fire, but the empty crisp pockets just smoked and shriveled up.
Could do with some of those letters now, eh?
He said cheerfully.
And we are going to stop there for today.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, grandmas and grandpas.